Hi, this is Robert, and I'd like to welcome you to a very special edition of Hong Kong Apartments International. As many of you know, Jennifer and I moved from Washington, D.C. to Hong Kong in January in search of a new place. Now, one of the things that you may not know is that Hong Kong is a great city, and we immediately started to explore and discover that there's so many wonderful things about Hong Kong, and the harbor is just one of them. There are great views of the city here from the peak, and one of the things that you might notice is all the high-rises. Of course, Jennifer and I are attracted to food, and there is some great food in Hong Kong. So when we started looking for apartments, there were certain things that we said are must. And one of the things that we both agreed on is that we wanted to be in a modern building. So it would include things like air conditioning because it gets very hot here in the summer. We wanted modern appliances. We wanted to be near public transportation. We wanted to have plenty of good light, especially from the east, and plenty of places for our clothes. We also had a wish list, and on the wish list we had certain things like we wanted to have at least 2 bathrooms. We thought if you're going to be in Hong Kong, try to be as high as possible and have a great view. Jennifer and I both like to swim, so we also included on our wish list a swimming pool or some type of access to a pool. One of the things that we learned when we were in Washington, D.C. is having a door person is indispensable, especially when packages arrive and things of that nature. And lastly, if we can find a place with built-in wardrobes, that would be great. So the very first place that we looked at was located at the Arch. It has 1 bedroom, 1 bath, and it has a lot of great amenities like an indoor swimming pool, door service. It's located at the mall in Kowloon, which kind of reminded of our place in Georgetown, and there's also a subway stop there. So there's a lot of access to a lot of things and very easy to get to a lot of different locations. So one of the things that I was really attracted to with the Arch is that it's a signature piece of architecture here in Hong Kong. It's one of the really cool modern buildings. And when you see it, you really recognize it right off the bat. And when I walked into the apartment, I was equally awed because it flows like no other apartment that we saw. It has a great balcony that leads to a garden, and some of the furnishings that you see here come with the apartment. And for Jennifer and I, who are starting out, that's kind of nice to have some things already in place. When we look at this particular apartment, it doesn't have the best view. It doesn't overlook that wonderful harbor. It looks into this courtyard, which is nice, but it's certainly not the best view that Hong Kong offers. I also like to point out that no other property that we saw had a great outdoor area like this one, and it really was a strong point for me. This apartment, as you can see, is very modern, it's very clean, it's got lots of storage, and there was a lot to like about this particular apartment in many ways. So just as a recap, the things that I really liked about the Arch apartment is its great location to the mall. The garden couldn't be beat, and that it had storage spaces that are already there and ready to use. It's a modern building, and that it's really near the MTR stop, and that's only 1 stop for Jennifer to go to her office. The cons is that it's only a 1 bedroom. It only has 1 bath, and the light wasn't so strong. It faces to the south side, I believe. And I guess worst of all is that it really is on the high end of our price range. The second apartment that I looked at is located in a building which is known as Island Crest. It's a 2-bedroom apartment. It has 1 bath, and there are great amenities. There's a swimming pool, door service. And one of the things that's kind of quirky, being from Washington, D.C., is that it's located near a streetcar which goes right down to Exchange Square, which is where Jennifer's office is located. So there's a lot to like about this particular apartment. So the Island Crest apartment is also a modern building, and it's a high-rise. And I think that no one, the apartment that we looked at here, no one has actually lived in it. It's brand new. One of the things that we liked about the Island Crest, and one of the reasons why we started over in that neighborhood looking, is that this particular neighborhood seemed to have a real neighborhood feel to it. And this is a store, for example, that is getting ready for the Chinese New Year. One of the things that I wasn't crazy about is that it's a very hilly neighborhood. So that may be somewhat of a challenge. But when we looked at the apartments, we were immediately impressed with the fact that everything was very clean. And when we walked into this particular apartment, we liked the fact that it had a balcony and it looks out over that mountain, which is called the Peak. And we said to ourselves, you know, it's not a harbor view, but it's a view. And it's a pretty good one. There's a lot to like about this apartment. It has deep wells in the windows, lots of light. The bathrooms are nice and new, and modern appliances are everywhere. So the breakdown on the Island Crest is that it has great light, which the other apartment really didn't. It has 2 bedrooms plus a storage area, which is important for Jennifer's clothes. It has a swimming pool, and it's a modern building. And like I said, it has a real neighborhood feel to it. The cons would be that it's not exactly near the MTR, it's in a hilly part of town, and that there's nothing that comes with this particular apartment, and there is also no furniture either. And not that it's a major point, but it only has 1 bathroom. The last apartment that we saw is in the mid-levels neighborhood, which is very close to where we're staying now, and it's located in an apartment complex called Vantage Park. This is a 3-bedroom apartment. It has 2 baths, and there are some good amenities such as a swimming pool, a doorman, and it's very close to the escalator in town. And for those of you who are not familiar with Hong Kong, there's an escalator that goes through the city that helps people up and down some of these treacherous hills that Hong Kong is known for. So this is the outside of the apartment, and that's the entrance of the escalator that goes downtown. When you walk into the apartment, one of the first things that I notice is that it's full of light, and it has good light, and there is some nice architectural features that the other places didn't have. For example, this nice arch kind of gives the feeling that it's a little more homey than some of the more contemporary styles that we've been looking at. The apartment has a lot of good storage built in, such as these cabinets, and once again you can see some very good light coming into the apartment. This is the master bedroom, and you can see once again that it has nice storage. And the one thing that this apartment has that the others don't is that you can see that there is a bathroom directly off of the main bedroom. There's also a swimming pool, and it's good for seasonal use here in Hong Kong. So here's the rundown on Vantage Park, the pros and cons. The big pro is that this is the largest place that we saw. It has 3 true bedrooms, and it also has 2 bathrooms. And of course the other big advantage is that it's near the escalator here in town. The biggest cons are that it's an older building. It needs a little work. Definitely the kitchen would have to be redone, and the appliances are not in very good shape. Also, because it's a 3-bedroom, I think that the price is a little higher, and it pushes it beyond our price range for what we would want to pay at this time. All right, so here's the rundown on the three apartments that we've looked at. The Arch apartment, which is the one with the great garden. Then we had the Island Crest, which had the great light. And then finally, Vantage Park, which had the great space. So I'm going to leave the broadcast this time. Take a look at the choices and tell us what you think. Thanks a lot.